Hello, everybody. Welcome to another Sunday Funday, and this one I've been dreading actually for a while. As y'all can see, we of course went to go see Hellboy. I am actually quite a bit fan of the original Hellboy film, not so much the second one. I think the second one is kind of tedious throughout like 85% of the film. And not only that, but the big reveal that Liz is pregnant just did not hold any weight, and I knew that going in. Once they're like, "Oh, you've been acting this way for a while now," it's like, okay, she's pregnant. I don't know. The second movie it's not as magical as it probably should be, at least in my eyes. But I still really enjoyed the first one, faults and all, especially considering the CGI for it's not really held up real well. But I have not been looking forward to this. Trailers don't look particularly impressive. It seems to be... I'm not sure why it was wanting to go for a hard R exactly. Not that I'm against it, just it's one of those like, why exactly? And wasn't being given a good reason why this needed to be a hard R. Now, before we give my opinions about it, I want Megan to start us off, since I started us off last week. Since my opinions were a little bit more divisive, I think, on Shazam. And even then, I'm still trying to process the damn movie. Hellboy, not so much. So.
He totally loved it. Don't let him fool you.
We'll get into me here in a second about Hellboy. So what did you think about Hellboy, though?
I thought it had a number of faults, but overall, I thought it was alright.
This movie had more faults than a shitty tennis match. There's my tennis joke for the year. So what did you think was alright about it?
I like some of the special effects. I like some of the action scenes, although it was like one or two of them went on long.
Like all of them? Like I said, I'll get into my...
Well, the scene with the pig thing, it's like... And as you also point out to me, yeah, the, like, quick edits.
It's edited too quickly. For a 2-hour-long movie, this is really a choppy film.
Can't be as choppy as what you were telling me about that Resident Evil movie.
Well, that's because Paul W.S. Anderson, I think, has developed the attention span of a fucking goldfish. Just like... I think squirrels have better attention spans than Paul W.S. Anderson. He's like, squirrel, 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 squirrel.
Maybe that chubby squirrel we saw yesterday.
Fast squirrel.
That
made me look skinny.
Look, chubby little squirrel. Like.
Mm-hmm. Ain't missing no meals. Well, I guess I can't avoid enough. This movie has been described as a mess, and it's a big fucking mess. There's not a single damn redeeming factor throughout this entire film. To talk about this movie, it's sort of... It's a remake, in all essence. In a fashion.
Yeah, I'll say it's...
A reboot, actually, I should say, to this series, because... Lord knows, we need a reboot for a series that started in the early 2000s. Why? Why? Why did we need to reboot this series? Especially considering what they gave us is not any better than what we originally got from the first movie. Because there's a lot of familiar ground they tread from the first movie.
I was gonna say, there's a lot of retread of the first and the second movies.
In terms of dealing with Hellboy's identifying himself.
Yeah, well, also with some of the...
Father-son stuff.
Well, there's that, but I was more thinking, like, when they went to that little side quest they did towards the end of the film.
Which one?
The one to get the thing over her neck.
Oh.
Very reminiscent of, in the second one, taking...
The shard of the spear from Hellboy's chest.
Yeah.
Oh, God, this movie... Like... The first 5 minutes, I already started noticing some issues, though I kind of laughed at a couple of jokes early on, but then I was starting to get really worn out, because a lot of people's biggest complaint about the MCU movies is that they are a little too comedic, and I can get that at times. Like Iron Man 3, sometimes its comedy actually got in the way of its actual storytelling. And got in the way of actually just telling a good movie. To me, even sometimes I thought that happened with Deadpool 2, though I still thought Deadpool 2 was really good. Here, like, it's just trying to rapid fire, smart, smarmy. It feels like like a morning radio DJ that's trying to tell you a Hellboy story. But they have to throw in their own little quips, their own little jokes. Some are kind of humorous. A lot of them are really, really not, though. But this kind of tells a tale of, how do you say her name? Nimue?
Vivian Nimue.
Yeah, those who know Nimue think of like Linkara's computer that controls, Comic-Con 1.
Or like...
I'm a nerd.
Or like from Arthurian Legend 1, The Lazy Lakes.
Yeah. And she's a powerful sorceress witch thing that was going to make a peace pact with Arthur and then ended up getting killed. Somehow they were talking about the Dark Ages and it was in the 500s. I'm like, Dark Ages just happened a few hundred years after that if we're going to start getting picky, but I'm not
Yeah,
that picky.
And also there's a scene takes place like 512 AD, I want to say.
Uh-huh.
And they keep referring to her as 5th century. It's like, no, that would actually be 6th century.
Yeah, it's like
for people supposed to be so big on history, it's like, how do you get that little detail wrong? Like,
because the writers of the movie are not really bright. If you couldn't tell by the writing in this movie. And that's one of the things it kind of smacks you in the face with. I mean, not only that, but it can't just let scenes build or, hell, even tell a story that makes cohesive sense. Like, there's constant little flashbacks to this character's past about this thing. Like, you would think that, oh, well, we're setting up the villain, and that's going to be setting up Hellboy, too. No, it does not set up Hellboy. Instead, it is just the setup for the villain. Mila Jovovich, if you're wondering. Or how you say her name, Jovovich. I think it's
Jovovich.
pronounced Djokovic.
I think it's Jovovich, I think.
Mila, if you want to answer, you're welcome to. I still don't know how you look the way you do. It's like, you look like you're still 22. I don't know what...
She bathes in the bloods of virgins.
Probably. Yeah, and I will just mention this only because it comes up as a bit of a plot detail later. She's supposedly betrayed by this other witch, who I don't remember her name even. And it really makes a big deal. Like, it's a big deal that she betrayed her. It's like, how? And what did she do? And this lady's never seen till near this other spot dealing with something else that's somewhat plot driven. It's like, I've never seen a MacGuffin in human form like this before.
Yeah, I mean, she's brought up, like, she made me deal about, oh, she betrays her and puts on, like, this crown of thorns that I guess was supposed to be...
part of Nimue's power or something.
Or something. Or it's like, it's supposed to be her crown because she's the Blood Queen. Oh. And then, like, centuries later, Nimue, after being chopped up and reformed, like, she's... takes back her power, and the witch is like, oh, well, please have mercy on me.
And her sisters, and it's like...
Where the sisters come from, first of all? It's like, what do they have to do with this? Where did they come in? Like, what? I was so confused. And, second of all, where has she been? Like, she has not aged or anything.
In 1,500 years.
Okay, I get how Blood Queen's immortal. Like, I can kind of understand that, but what's this chick doing?
She's bathing in the blood of virgins, I guess.
I guess so.
I don't know. There's whole chunks of this movie that feel like it's completely left out. Because also, you would think that after the showing of the Blood Queen being separated and everything, we're going to go into Hellboy's origins. Because they're going to reset that up. No, instead, they decide after 35, 40 minutes into the movie, they decide to retell his origins. Very similar to what they did in the first movie, except for it's not like a less of a mythical creature Cthulhu monster that was raising him, which shows that these writers don't know anything about Cthulhu or any of the H.P. Lovecraftian kind of horrors that there are. Similar premise, except for somehow Ian McShane and all these others, they are hunting these demons, and also you have Thomas
they're
Hayden
working
Church.
for the Allied powers during World War II, trying to hunt down Grigori Rasputin. Gee, where have we seen that before?
Though he's just killed. And also they even have a callback to the first one with a guy who's in a gas mask. It looks much like that one colonel.
Yeah, the one, like, assassin dude.
Yeah, which, that guy was cool, but he was meant to be kind of like a mini-boss in all essence, and instead here, he's just a guy that's in a mask.
I would say he's just staying there, just a Nazi.
Yeah, I think it's...
Then Thomas Hayden Church comes in.
Just fucks them all up, and then...
Yeah, kills Rasputin, and then Ian McShane and his buddies come in and see what they've wrought from...
Hell.
From H-double toothpicks.
And
like there's a little
Hellboy.
Yeah, little baby Hellboy, and it's like, gee, where have I seen this before?
And I get that they're trying. It's like, well, we can't really do much because it's still a similar premise. Then don't make it a remake. Don't make it a reboot. Just go from the original film. I mean, that is a problem in and of itself. Like if they
they show Hellboy his origins, but
it's at odds to the rest of the film.
I would say it's assumed that he already knows about much of this stuff, except for the fact that they were originally coming to kill him.
Yeah, and it's one of those, like, it seems like at first he's kind of upset about it, but smash cut. I mean, literally, next scene, he's just going off with these dudes to go kill these giants, like Ian McShane, who's his father in this movie, asked him to. It's like...
And he keeps bringing up throughout the films, like, well, why didn't you kill me when you had a chance? Like, why were you trying to kill me? Like, why didn't you kill me?
And not only that, but they don't...
knowing that he's supposed to bring about the end of the world. Sorry.
Yeah, and also they don't really explain to Ian McShane or how these other people are able to live forever. How they still at the same age. They just say, well, we just don't.
Well, they...
Must be nice.
Kind of explains, like, they've... Like, it's kind of a byproduct of the ritual that brought Hellboy here, is that they age at a snail's pace so that they can stop him from bringing about the end of the world.
But how? It's not like they cast a magical spell or anything like that.
They weren't even there when the ritual took place.
It would have been one thing if, like, whenever they were saying there's suddenly this wave of energy hit them or something, it's like, oh, we got hit by magical energy. And, give some kind of stupid, idiotic response.
And also, Ian McShane never does answer his question. Never says, like, oh, well, you were just a baby, or, oh, I looked at you and saw that you were...
I saw you could be better than what...
Yeah, I saw that you were just a little innocent. We don't really get an explanation. Like, he's just like, okay, well, I'm not going to kill him.
Yeah, it's not like with the original, where the original, you got to see that, even though the first guy, he kind of freaked out and was originally shooting at Hellboy, not Ian McShane, but...
Professor Broom.
Yeah, Professor Broom, he actually, it's just a baby.
And like kind of like Holden's like, oh well, it's just a little baby, and
he gave him a baby Ruth, which was a kind of nice little thing that kept happening throughout the movies. It was a neat little nod that they kept doing in the first and also in the second movie. And
yeah, he actually felt like a caring father.
Yeah, and here Ian McShane's just his commander in all essence.
He's like, oh, stop whining, all the like moaning and groaning, and
it's like, huh? They don't have that chemistry that what's his name?
John Hurt and
John Hurt and Ron Perlman actually had. Even though they're almost close to the same fucking age in that movie. Like, Ron Perlman's not a spring chicken. And also, if I'm going to pick on something as well, I do have to mention, even though David Harbour, he's actually, we looked it up, he's taller than Ron Perlman.
Like 2 inches.
Yeah, not like it's that big of a deal. Trust me, any woman will tell you 2 inches ain't always the biggest thing in the world. But
Well, never mind. That's it.
well, it depends upon how many 2 inches. Like if it's less than 2 inches, nah, ain't no way anything's happening.
Oh, if it's 2 inches around.
I have an 11-inch penis. Around. Sorry for random American Pie 2 reference. But yeah, David Harbour always feels small. I don't know how else to describe it.
Yeah, it doesn't help that he's. I know that I minded. Like, he's kind of chunky, but kind of muscular at the same time.
He's more like a bodybuilder kind of build. He looks like.
Yeah,
that's what I describe him. He looks like me, but it's all muscle,
yeah,
actually.
but for the most part, though, I think it was the fact that he doesn't just have the presence that Ron Perlman has.
Ron Perlman always has presence. Any shitty movie he's in, he commands a presence. He commands you to stare at him. And not only that, but Guillermo del Toro knew how to angle the camera a little bit down, or it looked up to Ron Perlman. So it always made Hellboy feel tall. Hell, whenever he was having to talk with one agent dude, I can't remember his name, from the first Hellboy movie that kind of had a thing for Liz.
John Myers?
Yeah, with John Myers, he constantly felt like massive compared to him. Like he felt not just, big, muscular-wise, but taller. Hellboy's supposed to be that way. Here, he always feels like he's just the same height. Like, Daniel Day Kim is a couple inches shorter than him. And Daniel Day Kim is a not very big guy and also a very kind of scrawny dude, so it kind of makes Hellboy seem kind of small. We'll get into Daniel Day Kim. I don't remember Major something or another.
I would say his name was Daniel, and that I would say they kept calling him Daniel.
I got IMDb right here. I got it pulled up. But yeah, we don't learn about Hellboy's actual origins till about, like I said, about 45 minutes into the movie. Then also we have to learn shortly after that about this other character. Her name is Alice. She can communicate with the dead.
Ever since being taken by fairies as a baby and changeling left in her place.
Yeah.
Which I thought was an interesting idea.
She did a whole lot of nothing with it.
Yeah, but even though the whole thing with, it's like, I could have been human, I could have had this great life full of, happiness and normalcy and da-da-da, and you took that from me. Like, and one of the main characters trying to get, one of the main villains, actually, trying to get revenge on him, like...
And it's like, why would you want to get revenge against Hellboy for that? I mean, you know what you're doing is a despicable thing.
I was about to say, y'all are taking babies and...
From their parents.
Yeah, it's like, he's just getting the parents, like, their baby back.
Yeah, it's
like you can't fault him for that.
Yeah, it makes it seem like Hellboy really did something against him, but he didn't. He did what any normal... Like, if humans were to take a changeling's baby and replace it with a human, they might be a little pissed. I mean, switch roles here, and you're still not in the right in your anger. And I get he's supposed to be just a villain, but...
Yeah, again, he's kind of angry and also about being burned by iron.
Mm-hmm.
But it's just, when it all boils down to it, I will even admit, it's like, yeah, it was a very flimsy...
reason to be pissed off at Hellboy.
Yeah, very flimsy reason for revenge for helping the Blood Queen. I mean, even one thing if he's, like a servant of hers. And just wanted to help her,
rise up. Or...
return again. Like he's devoted to her in some way. It's like, okay, well, that would make sense. In fact, I thought that's actually where they were going with that.
Or if it was Baba Yaga was technically kind of behind it. Yeah, they mentioned Baba Yaga. Those who know a little bit about Russian folklore and all that know a little bit about Baba Yaga. Mm-hmm. Which, I'll admit, she's creepy and weird looking, though a lot of it's CGI, and there's parts, her whole scene, like they eventually show her more, it just drags and doesn't have any real purpose to the movie, except for she just divulges information.
Yeah, except to let him know, like, oh, well, she'll rise again at midnight at, this place, so...
Get moving, a-hole. Now you give me your eye. Oh, wait, you lied to me.
Yeah, because she tried to bargain with him, like, getting his eye, because he took her eye in a fight they previously had.
Nice.
And he's like, well, I'll give it to you. Like, well, I said I was going to give it to you, and I'll give it to you when I'm done with it. Years specified a time.
And then
So.
then it starts a fight sequence that really doesn't have any purpose to be there, except for just kind of have Baba Yaga be a little weird.
It's like, I curse you have both eyes to see your loved ones die. And I was like, okay, so I guess we're going to drop the whole, like, he owes her an eye, I guess.
So, this movie just kind of...
And the whole thing, I was saying with the Osiris Club, that was really unnecessary. Like, talking about him learning about his origins, like, yeah, then right after that...
He decides to go work with them to kill these giants.
And then it turns out, like, okay, well, they're actually tracking these giants, but at the same time, they're trying to...
Kill Hellboy.
Yeah, kill him to prevent the end of the world. It's like...
What? Also, to mention also about who gets introduced a little bit after that, this young girl, her name is Alice, we've already mentioned, who can speak with the dead, and also she can remove spirits, I guess, or something.
She can let spirits talk through her.
And also, when she was touching the dead witches and all that, their spirits were being released when they were fighting the zombies at one point. I think that's what was happening. I don't know. The movie...
Yeah, when she, like, punch people and knocking their, like... Well,
looks like a ghost comes out and just... Whoosh.
Well, punching the zombie, to say.
Yeah.
Knocking the spirits right out of them. It's like, oh, I didn't know I could do that.
When did you learn to do that? Just now. Hey.
It's like, well,
us too.
It's like, ever since I was abducted by fairies, I can do all kinds of crazy stuff. Mm-hmm. And I was like, well, it's like, why not?
It's like this movie's like, here, she just has this power. She has whatever the plot needs her to have.
I'm gonna say she has whatever ability, at least related to spirits, that...
The plot needs.
Yeah.
But yeah, also, when they introduce Alice, the one thing that I will also say about that really bothers me, strangely enough, they're just fine that Hellboy just kind of walks in on them, and it walks in to talk with them. It doesn't mention that, hey, her parents were part of, Ian McShane's group, or part of the Osiris Club. Nothing. There's no mention if they have any occult background. They just... Hellboy walks in, they're cool with this big horn filed down red dude just walking in.
Yeah, they call him in because
they think their baby's been...
Yeah, they suspect that, like, that it's their baby, but it's, like, not their baby. It's like, okay, well, can you tell us what's going on? Can you help out?
Yeah, and that's when they learn that was replaced by Changeling. That's whenever he threatens the Changeling to tell him to have the fairies bring back their baby. Mm-hmm. Which, that makes me wonder, does Hellboy do this a lot? Does that happen a lot? Because he just make house calls? Because they mentioned it's like fairies tend to do that.
Like, they try and do that, but on the few times they're able to actually get a baby, like they'll replace it with a changeling.
Yeah, and it's like... Which
is kind of fairy folklore.
Yeah, and I get that. It's just one of those, like, it never explains, like, is this a common occurrence, though?
It may seem like it wasn't that common.
Still, it's like one of those, like...
I know that he knows how to handle it, apparently.
Yeah, well, again, also, it's nice to know, I guess, Hellboy's just in the phone book. I was just like, oh, look, there he is. Let me go call him up.
Yeah, I don't think they ever explained, like, how they were able... How they knew about Hellboy or anything. It's like... Like, they might have mentioned it, but it was, like, a little possibly throwaway line that neither one of us paid attention to.
Because a lot of this movie feels like throwaway lines, and... The movie, like, rapid fires freaking plot just the whole time. Like, how we're describing it, this feels very chaotic and very, scatterbrained. It's how the movie feels. It just, there's not a cohesive narrative that really flows till you get to past the halfway point. Even then, it's still throwing exposition. Like, the up to the last 20 minutes of the movie, I would say, it is still dumping exposition about Hellboy's past, about this, about that. And it's like, I am at absolute don't give a shit levels of this movie. Quit giving me exposition. Just have a narrative. Just tell a story. I don't fucking care anymore.
Usually the guy in front of you fell asleep.
Yeah, I don't blame him.
You actually heard him snore. I'm like...
Yeah, it was strange.
Yeah, like, and then after, like, the big fight scene at the end, the bite just like... You hear him snoring a little bit. Like, okay. It's like, okay.
I was bad as the guy in the rings, just passed out, but I don't blame him. Rings was terrible.
Well, and also we were in the seats where you could recline.
Mm-hmm.
Like, you was comfy.
Yeah, it's better than that movie. But yeah, you get all this just random ass like stuff. It feels like the writers just threw as much as they could at the wall.
Or the opening scene with the Lucha Libre, his friend.
Yeah, they make a big deal about vampires and his friends are. I guess vampires are not really in control of themselves in a way, and they're just pure evil. Obviously,
like he's there just to explain. It's like, oh, you will be the end of the world.
Yeah, and
just to explain the prophecy. Like,
And then he kills his friend, and he's upset about it, though.
It's like he had to. He was a freaking vampire.
It would have been nice if they would have just, if he was able to calm his friend down, and his friend was, kind of getting control of his, lack of a better way to put it, monstrous side. And I think that's something that could have made for, hey, get this, writers, symbolism. That would have been much better symbolism. Because you're already trying to talk about the fact that Hellboy's trying to get in control of his own monstrous, demonic side, and also trying to come to grips with the fact he is not human. Though, according to this movie, he's half human. He's the son of the devil, and...
I was about to say, he's... Like, one of King Arthur's descendants had sex with the devil and married the devil, and later gave birth
to Hellboy.
To Hellboy, and... Like, gave birth, the very night that Rasputin was doing his summoning stuff.
Why?
It's like...
So stupid.
Okay.
Yeah.
Supposed to explain why, he's able to...
He's able to
wield Excalibur and pull it from the stone.
Yeah, and that's supposedly how he's able to summon forth the demons. Though how that is, I don't fucking know. Especially once they explain, or if you know anything about Arthurian legend or folklore or anything like that. I
guess because of his demonic heritage, if he was able to actually touch
something so
Excalibur,
powerful,
it would open up
a portal to hell.
Unleash all these demons and end of day, but then does that, slams it kind of into the ground after he gets done, and it kind of
sucks in all the demons.
It sucks them back in and closes everything back up, and there's just some papers on the ground. That's all that's a trace of.
Never mind all the thousands of dead people.
They got killed in very gruesome ways. It's rated R for a reason, people.
Yeah, and actually I will touch upon one about the rated R. I don't care one way or the other about a movie being rated R, or if it is or if it isn't. Just as long as...
It has purpose?
It has purpose, and on top of everything, it doesn't do it so much to the point to where the gore is supposed to keep being shocking and all this, but it just begins to lose its shock value. And that's the biggest problem. One, because it's a lot of CGI gore. Because it's all CGI blood, I'm I don't care. You're not shocking me anymore, movie.
Well, it wasn't just about the blood. It was also about, one guy in the Dark Ages scene gets his eyeball pecked out by a bird. Ugh.
Yeah, the movie, I think, is going for a lot of shock factor, but it doesn't know how to do it well. Realistically, this should take a page from more modern day, shock factor directors who do it well. One, they pace it out a lot better. This movie it has whole chunks where there's no shock, and then blam, blah, 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 just throws it at you. Hell, take the directors of the Evil Dead remake, which actually was not that bad. It was not a great movie. There were a lot of problems here and there, but I thought it did everything a lot better than it had any right to be, especially since it was a pretty by the numbers remake in certain regards. That movie, it did have a lot of gore. It's really like gross, shocking gore, but it never felt like, okay, now you're just trying to one up one scene after the other, which this began to feel like, well, you saw this is even more shocking. Because, like, at least Deadpool purposely does shock gore for comedy purposes. This began to feel just like that with Hellboy, too. Or Hellboy. It just felt like it's just comedy purposes. And it's like, I'm beginning to lose any care. And like I said, if you want to make this truly a horror comedy, which I think was the goal, you need to aim a little bit better and do this a hell of a lot better, too. Because, boy, oh boy, do they not get it. Mm-hmm. And, like I said, there's just so much plot going on to the point to where, realistically, all this movie gets boiled down into the last 20-some-odd minutes of the film. It finally quits moving forward in terms of trying, and exposition-wise, and it's like, oh, well, the plot can actually finally frickin' move, actually. Because it moves like snail's pace, a little bit here, a little bit there, end. But beyond that, we have all this other crap we have to cram in. It's like they wanted to build a world.
Yeah, there's a number of like quests and side quests and such, and then we'll slow down for the story and character moments.
And even then, some of the character moments just don't feel very impactful. Like Dimano, I think is his name. Ben Dimano. Major Ben. Daniel Day Kim's character.
I knew you were going to move.
Yeah, like, we have to talk about the fact that he is a were-leopard, which they spoil in the frickin' trailers. And they really make it like it's a big deal. That's a surprise.
Yeah, it's another flashback we have to have of him in the jungle fighting this man-eater, as he calls it, this jaguar.
Were-leopard.
Were-leopard. And then he has these scratches, and I was like, oh, okay, yeah, that makes sense that he's, okay, he was scratching, now he's, okay. I'm gonna go with it, okay.
And if I'm going to be the nitpicker here, he is supposed to be British. Why is he using an M16? Or an M4? He's using an American-made gun? Are you fucking kidding me? Are y'all that dumb?
And as much as I love Daniel Day Kim, why not get a British actor
or
to play this part?
Yeah, cause, I don't know. Is he actually British?
If I'm not saying he's actually American.
No, I just clicked on his picture because I'm stupid.
Because that was biography.
Yeah. Go ahead.
I would say if you're having trouble finding, look on Wikipedia.
Oh, IMDb is failing me now. What you're saying?
But yeah, I like the actor, and as much as I enjoyed him in this film, I don't know why they didn't just cast a British actor to play the part rather than casting an American to do a British accent.
Korean American is technically his heritage, but still.
I think keyword there, American.
It would have been nice. Jamon Hansu. He's actually British, or no, he might not be. He's not actually British. I'm sorry. He actually is African. And if I'm not mistaken, well, let's say he's actually from somewhere in Africa. But yeah, he can do a freaking fantastic British accent. And also he can do a really good asshole. Dear God, anybody. There's so many different actors you could do. And if they're worried about, we need a person of different than white heritage. One, the lady who plays Alice, she's not a white lady. I don't know. I don't know what their intent was in this entire movie. And that's the worst part, is like, by the end of this, I was like, I don't know what's going on throughout half the film. There's just 38,000 plot elements they wanted to cram into this film. There's action sequences almost for the sake of just action sequences. Like the stuff between him and Baba Yaga almost could have just been completely cut out of the movie and it wouldn't have taken away anything except for the fact she tells him this one little thing. But even then, it could have been told through anything else, or they could have just, oh, maybe we should investigate the hill where, we cut up her body. You think, especially since Ian McShane at the beginning of the movie is the one who's telling the tale of it all. Even then, it's supposed to be humorous because he keeps making like little lighthearted quips.
The Dark Ages, for good effing reason.
For good fucking reason. I like Ian McShane, but he's totally not giving any shits to this. Like, he's turned in less of a don't give a shit performance than in Death Race. It's just... this movie's bad, y'all. It's not... Like, I'm trying to figure out if it's worse than Captive State, and I'm like, well, this is a whole movie. I'm like, no, because there's certain parts I still don't know what in the hell is going on. That I feel like I should have gotten a little bit more. It does feel like this was probably like a 3.5 hour long movie that they cut down a lot. Because there's just chunks that just don't flow well. There's things that don't really make sense.
Stuff that are mentioned but then dropped and then picked back up towards the end of the film. It's like, oh yeah, I forgot about you. Like the witch.
Yeah, and it's like...
where did her sister come from? What do they have to do with this?
What does this have to do with anything? Yeah.
I was saying, it makes such a big deal that the witch betraying her. It's like, oh, you betrayed me. It's like, okay.
Ow.
First of all, how did she betray you? Like, what exactly did she do? Did she, go and tell her, okay, this is how you can, like, okay, you can't kill her, but this is how you can destroy her.
Yeah, and it's like, why did anybody think to do that to begin with?
And second of all, like, why is it such a big deal that you betray? It's like, are y'all, like, part of the same... It's like, she your sister? Your mother?
I think they're supposed to be part of the same coven or something. I don't know.
I mean, yeah, she refers to the witch and her sister says, sisters, please don't hide like field mice or something, whatever.
Yeah, and but it seems almost more covenish kind of
Yeah,
way.
like more...
It's like,
Yeah, I think those might have been her actual sisters, or...
Getting moved.
Or maybe that's the Coven sisters that she picked up after betraying. I don't know. It's not.
That is explained.
It's not even implied.
It's not even hinted at.
Yeah, it's just there. It like, okay,
I don't know. I honestly think they probably watched the first movie a grand total of one time. And we're like, hey, we can do this thing. It's all about quips and do. No, that movie, the comedy was used to help show that Hellboy took a lot of the situations very lightly. But when he needed to get serious, he got serious. He wasn't just quipping the entire time. Yeah. And not only that, but if I'm going to also harp on one other thing about this film, holy shit, did they not make Hellboy ever seem imposing? Not just in terms of size, but like, there's a bunch of dudes that are able to stab through him. Normal humans are able to just stab spears through him. It's like, okay, he's able to be shot and it doesn't...
And they electrocute him and... Like, it knocks him out.
Yeah, and that's it. And he's able to seemingly take on a lot of blows without, like, really... cutting and hurting him as much, but then regular spears
are... Yeah, he takes on these giants, which really seem to have no purpose as well.
They're just an action sequence.
Yeah, they just fling him across the forest, and it's like, oh. Like he's a little bruised, a little hurt, but otherwise fine. Like that would have killed a normal human, but okay.
It's just... God, this movie sucks. There's no two ways about this movie.
It has a number of flaws.
1 between a million flaws, at least. I could rail against this movie for just hours on just some of the stuff. And I can't say I am angry with the movie. I'm glad I no longer have to see trailers for it. We've been seeing trailers for almost every movie we've been going to see lately. It's starting to drive me bonkers.
Oh, no, saying Missing Link is out, so you can stop seeing trailers for that.
Thank God. Tired of seeing trailers for that piece of shit, too. So what do you give Hellboy? The remake, not the original. The original's great. I'll watch the original if you want my opinion already. Excuse me.
You're not gonna like it. I was thinking about giving it a 6. Like I said, it's alright. But after talking about a number of the flaws, yeah, it's gonna have to be a 4 for me. I know you think that's generous.
That is very generous.
Let me guess what you gave it.
Well, also, if you think about the fact that if you have played any video games or know anything about Hellgate London, the fucking monsters are straight rip-off from it. And also, I swear to God, they use stock footage from the second movie. And I'm like, are you shitting me? Y'all
Like when they go get the thing taken out of her neck?
Yeah, because at one point Alice gets stabbed by something. That's another thing. We don't really even get to talk about Alice that much because she does some kind of like neat things. But other than that, she's just... It's whatever the plot needs her to do.
I would say she's just tagging along for the ride until she's needed.
Yeah, and actually...
I mean, I thought she was cool, but... A lot of scenes where she just... I really even meant like she was not even needed.
Yeah, she's just there to...
Again, tagging along for the ride until she's needed.
Yeah, just to move the plot somewhere. Or move Hellboy somewhere, I should say. This is a fucking one. This is a giant piece of shit. This is like Superman, Batman levels of just incompetent filmmaking. I mean, you have a story that just doesn't know what it wants to do half the time. Is atonal as fuck at times. And the only thing I can say that this has over Batman v Superman is the fact that it's 30 minutes shorter. That is the best thing it has over Batman v Superman. Other than that, this is a screeching turd of a movie. Go watch Shazam. It's a much better movie despite Hitler in mom form. It's such a better movie than this piece of shit. Though it seems like y'all have, because a lot of people went to go see Shazam and Little for some reason over this. Thank God. This movie bombed, and I'm so happy.
I would say Little just looks like a
reverse version of Big.
I would say it's a remake of Big, but instead of growing up, she finds herself growing down.
Like I said, it's a reverse version of Big.
Yeah, kind of like the
female version of...
Yeah, the female remake of...
What, Women Want?
Yeah.
None of these are bad ideas, just... Why do we need them?
Yeah, I was like, what are you adding to it?
No, I don't really need it.
Well, like with the Lion King remake, what... Like, I would love to know, Jon Favreau, what are you adding to this story? Other than a shot-for-shot, line-by-line remake, live-action remake with animated animal, or CGI animals.
There's going to be a Simba Nala fuck-off. No, please don't. I will walk out of that theater and drink bleach if you do that, Jon Favreau. Fuck Hellboy. This is such a piece of shit. I have not watched a movie this miserable in a while. Like,
don't let him fool you, folks. Again, he loved this movie. He can't wait to own it.
It's like I said, it's Superman vs. Batman levels of bad, and it's surprise. I don't throw that around just lightly. Like hell, at least Captive State, I didn't give any shits, but also I didn't know what the hell was going on throughout the movie. Felt that way throughout.
I was gonna say there were a number of times I was like, okay, I'm lost here. Like what?
You're talking about Hellboy or Captive State?
Hellboy.
Yeah. Wasn't as bad as Captain State, but there a lot of times making me just
dropped his right into the middle of the action and just like hit the ground running, just did not let up until near the end, and then it finally stopped to explode. I was like, oh, okay. Well, I'm still confused. I still have questions, people.
Questions still.
Meanwhile, can we please?
Oh yeah, we'll wrap this up.
I was like, can we please wrap this up? I'm nothing like a snow cone in Phoenix.
Next week we get to see another horror movie. Yay. Curse of La Llorona.
La Llorona.
I'm going to call what I keep thinking is La Llorona.
La 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 Llorona.
Ugh, so that movie looks like garbage too. God, why? Why do we have horror movies being released in April? Why?
Like
hey,
Pet Cemetery and Us and...
Us was released in March.
Well, still
So, why are we
spring.
releasing horror movies so early in the year? Release them near September and October. Come on.
I was saying, like, fall, like, Halloween season.
Yeah. I guess I'm weird if I think that's when we should move them.
Or better yet, like, wait for summer and hope there'll be a summer blockbuster.
They tried that before, and it failed a lot of times. They tried to replicate Jaws. But hey, until then, go watch Shazam. Go watch anything. Don't watch Hellboy. So until then, y'all, bye-bye.
Bye-bye.